Alright, good morning and Merry Christmas from Takea Beach, Thailand. Today is a beautiful day. Temperature's awesome this time of year. And what I'd like to do is make a video about the comparison between living in Bangkok and living here in Hua Hin. We're going to start with food because since I moved here, I've gained probably about 6 kilos. So, uh, food. Food here is pretty good. If you want seafood, you're going to get really, really fresh seafood. And you can find it for a decent price. Otherwise, on a wider spectrum, a lot of menus are catered toward Northern Europeans, sometimes even American cuisine, because of the amount of foreigners that choose to live here. So the restaurants kind of alter their recipes a little bit, but you can find authentic Thai food here in Takea. Takea is a little more expensive than Hua Hin, and overall the food quality is not as good as in Bangkok, and the prices are higher than what I experienced in Bangkok. And just to clarify, I lived in 2 different neighborhoods in Bangkok. I spent about 3 months on Nude and probably about 6 months in Pharam Khao section. And the street food was less expensive, larger portions, and better quality. But the availability of Western food is higher here in the Hua Hin area, and subsequently I started to eat a lot more Western diet, and also used to chow down on, I say used to, but chow down on seafood. I eat a lot of seafood here, and probably more calories than I need. So, although the quality's not good, just the atmosphere and the availability of good, decent food lends itself to excess. So, food. Pace of life, obviously, a big city. Bangkok, just to backtrack a little bit, my feelings about Bangkok it's in my top 3 cities in the world that I enjoy being in. Bangkok is definitely world class when it comes to a lot of categories. Excuse me, I'm getting over bronchitis. So, the pace of life. Life is extremely slow here in Hua Hin. And sabai, man. I mean, life is super slow here. Service is slow. Anything you're going to try to accomplish, and business-wise, snail's pace. Everybody's totally chilling. Having said that, this is the most relaxed, chill place I've ever lived in my life. It is just hands down. People here are calm and just really not getting excited or rushing to do anything. So you got to get used to that if you're not used to that type of thing. Some of the side effects of that is if you're a person that requires extra bit of motivation, being around people that are going places, doing things. If you're a younger person, you can abandon all aspirations and motivation. You can end up spending days in a hammock. So, and it's partly because of the weather. The temperatures are much cooler here. Out here on my balcony, there's a constant breeze. Matter of fact, I'm going to share the sea with you instead of you guys staring at me. And so the pace of life is a lot slower, and so I found myself not only gaining weight, but not being as in good of shape as I was in Bangkok. I swam more, I worked out more. And Bangkok is highly motivational. It's a younger populace. A lot of the guys I've seen there are jacked. It's not uncommon to see people my age or a little bit younger that are jacked up. And a lot of people seek refuge here in Thailand to kind of work on themselves personally, and you can really, it's really tangible in Bangkok. And so therefore you're motivated to also eat better. And the women are definitely more beautiful. So you're surrounded by dudes that are in really good shape, and a lot of women that are in really good shape and really attractive. And so the combination of those things really sets up the stage for, you really want to, if you have a little bit of a stomach or something like that, you're going to notice it. So that's how I felt about Bangkok. The pace is crazy. There's quiet neighborhoods that you can seek refuge in. There's places you can go to that you can chill. But for the most part, it's a 24/7 loud, just monstrous clusterfuck of people. And I love it. I love it. It's a great city for a lot of reasons, but it's not about Bangkok. It's about comparing Bangkok to Hua Hin. The people here are cool in Hua Hin. But definitely super, super laid back and just easy going. So that's the comparison as far as the atmosphere. The weather is much better. Bangkok is a monstrous greenhouse effect, right? The greenhouse effect, so it traps in. So whatever the temperature is, it's magnified. When I lived down in Phra Tao, which was a more central location than on New, it was like 5 degrees hotter just from the massive amounts of exhaust. And if you haven't seen video of all the motorcycles and scooters and cars and taxis and trucks and shit that are just choking the streets of Bangkok, then you would understand better. Each one of them is putting out an exhaust, and you can just feel the heat, man. You can feel the heat from it in the smog. Having said that, I don't know if you can see. Normally, you would be able to see Hua Hin in the distance. The pollution is so bad today that it's almost like I'm in a wildfire going on or something, or in the middle of burning season. Now, that just happens to be the way it is now. When I first moved here, the air quality was definitely much better than Bangkok. But during this season, the air quality sucks. So if you're sensitive to air quality, it seriously is at that level. You're going to be anywhere between orange and red, for those of you familiar with the scale, like 165 parts per million of PM2, and it can affect you. It can affect your health, and I wouldn't jog in it. But overall, so far I've been here 4 months. The air quality has been superior to Bangkok. So temperature's better. It's also drier than Bangkok. It rains a lot less, at least in Tokyo. Sometimes I can see where it rains every day in Hua Hin, but for some reason it doesn't make it this far south in the Tokyo, and I could literally just watch. I could see the line, the delineation, and just watch the rain from a distance. So the weather is better. Transportation. Yeah, I can't complain about transportation to Hua Hin. In Bangkok, it's definitely outstanding. You have a million different ways that you can travel. The public transportation system is outstanding. BTS is fantastic. It's on time. It's clean. It's dependable. Same thing with the subway system, MRT, Airport Link. And even though it's kind of dangerous, I'm guilty of using motorcycle taxis because they just slice through traffic. And if you've ever been trapped in a cab or a car in Bangkok, you know, just a short trip, sometimes I felt like I could walk faster than I've gotten somewhere in a taxi. And so I would stick to public transportation. And if you get into a pinch, motorcycle taxi is not a bad way to go. And it's very affordable. Here, transportation is a little more expensive. If you wanted to rent a car or a scooter, you can get a scooter. I found a scooter for $8 a day. And, you know, if you wanted to do a monthly contract with these people, it would probably get down to about $5 a day. Bolt works great here. There's not really any taxis. And Song Tao, these modified pickup trucks, will take you up and down the main strip. Will get you pretty much anywhere you want to go around here, really. For 15 baht. But I use Bolt, and I can usually get it. There's no traffic here, so I can usually get from here to wherever venue or whatever I want to go for a few dollars. Other times, if I'm not in a hurry, I just ride Song Tao for 15 baht. What is that, like 50 cents? And it's a custom service. That's a little bell. You ring the bell wherever you want them to stop. When you stop, let you off and pay them. If you want to get picked up, you just wave them down when they're passing by and jump in the back. So transportation is decent in both, but Bangkok definitely is superior in transportation. So, what does that leave? We talked about the expenses of eating, rent. Now, before I continue with rent, there's 10 million videos about how much it costs to live in this part of the world. I don't know what the fuck, man. Every spectrum that you could possibly imagine. And I think what people have to realize when they're looking at this and they're trying to figure it out is that people live frugally anywhere, okay? And so people can live frugally in the United States, you can live in Switzerland and live on a budget. I've seen other couples that travel around the world, they don't even spend $2,000 a month. There's another guy that just left Hua Hin here, Smiley Bob, whatever his face is. And he said, you know, he's spending $2,000 a month traveling around the world, blah, blah, blah. So two things. Everything is personal. I can only tell you my personal experiences and how much I spend. And I'll share, you know, for this purpose of this video, I'll just let you know, food's cheaper in Bangkok, transportation's cheaper and better in Bangkok, yeah, so on like that. As far as the prices, man, I don't know. The way that I live is no matter where I am in the world, I spend the same amount of money. The only thing that changes is what I get for that money. And so I spend exactly the same amount of money in Vienna as I do Athens, as I do in Crete, as I do in Bucharest, as I do in Bangkok, as I do in Hua Hin. So I'm not a good example of what a budget can do. But I can tell you which places are less expensive. So having said that, just don't pay attention to those videos. Figure out what your needs are. You should have an idea of what your core expenses are, how much it costs to feed yourself. You can figure out how much housing costs, and just take it from there, man. You know? You don't have to spend, most of the money I spend is not on entertainment, man. I spend the bulk of my money on food. So, maybe that's where the 6 kilos come from. But I like to eat, man. I like to eat well, and I like to drink when I eat. And so, you know, that's my biggest expense. So, housing between Bangkok and Hua Hin. So, housing in Bangkok is the full spectrum. You can find some really good bargains. But if you want to live in a really hot spot, you want to experience the luxury lifestyle, that's available too. I lived in an apartment in Farang Khao, and I paid $40,000 a month. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. The building was ridiculous. I mean, it was ridiculous. They had a full staff that was constantly shining. If you touched the elevator, it left a fingerprint on the elevator. The next time you went to the elevator, the fingerprint was gone. They had 3 swimming pools. They had a state-of-the-art gym. They had a theater room. It was just staff everywhere to help you. Conference room, computer lounges, massage chairs, and downstairs was 7-Eleven. And they would have a parking lot, and 2 times a week they would invite food trucks. And it was just sick. But it's very expensive for this part of the world. At 18,000 a year. So Bangkok, you can recognize the full spectrum of whatever you want to spend on rent. You want to come a little bit off the main strip, super vet. You want to go down some side stories, find a little bit quieter neighborhood. Maybe don't require all the amenities. You should be able to find something for 20 to 25,000. It shouldn't be too hard. So that's Bangkok. Rent is kind of expensive for some reason. It doesn't make sense because supply exceeds demand. Half of the buildings are 50-60% occupied. And of that 60%, it's like 10% of those are Airbnb or some kind of short-term rental situation. And so it really doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's the way that it is. Here in Hua Hin, the cheap housing is very easy to find. My son had a studio apartment. It was all right. The amenities were all right. It's clean, good location, blah, blah, blah. So it's 9,000 baht, which is like $250, $260, something like that. My apartment's like $500. And so it's very easy to find things for that price. And I have seen like studio rooms, like Thai style, like let's see, one big room with a bathroom. Yeah, I guess it's studio, but like super Thai style. Not a lot of furniture, no kitchen, just a sink. And I have seen those for as low as 3,000 baht, which is about 90, 100 bucks. So rent is super cheap here. But Bangkok has much nicer places, and they do have really nice places here too. If you want to spend, live right on the beach, be in the buildings. Recreation, it's not even a topic we can spend a lot of time talking about. There's a lot of recreation here in Hua Hin. You can do anything from shooting to shooting range. If you like to play golf, I think I heard someone say there was 9 golf courses. I don't only know about 4. If you're a foodie, there's a lot of restaurants, but we already covered that. Bangkok is superior by far. Bangkok should be listed as a food destination. I don't know if it shows up on the list or not. It should. And so recreation, it can be sparse here. Man, if you like to surf, if you like to paraglide, if you like to windsurf, I don't know, what do you call it when you hold the parachute but you're on a surfboard, whatever that is. People like to do that. I think it's safe to drive here, so if you wanted to just go around on a scooter and get back, you can take boat trips, you can fish, you can swim in the sea here if you want to. People do it. You can hike. National Forest is pretty close by, so you can do that. And it's got a little bit of a nightlife. I think it's got like one street where they have the classic, Thai bullshit with the Thai, with the bar girls, all of that nonsense. But the night markets are pretty cool. They're pretty wholesome. And Bangkok is definitely superior, man. Better music scene, 10 million things to do, every genre you could think of music, any kind of hobby that you might have, clay, pottery, to painting, to anything you want, man, is available in Bangkok. Take lessons in anything that you want. But when you have to deal with the bureaucracy, then it's better to be in a town like Hua Hin. Immigration compared to Bangkok here in Hua Hin is like night and day. It's just super remarkable. I mean, I would almost say if I lived in Bangkok, it would be worth taking a trip. I don't know if that's allowed, but to come to a place like Hua Hin to get your immigration needs satisfied, because Bangkok is just it's the most miserable. Think DMV, only with 10 million nationalities and half the staff, and just madness, man. So immigration is better here. I hear people talk about having problems with police. I see it on the news, and I'm thinking these things are, in my experience, it's always from Phuket, from Pattaya, one of those Disneyland touristy type places where guys go to get drunk, to sleep with whores, and all that stupid shit. And so, the places I've lived, I haven't had any encounters. I haven't really even seen that many of them, and really don't see anything that would constitute criminal activity. So I don't know why to do that. So that's my comparison between Hua Hin and Bangkok. And I say, I think I'm going to be setting up one of my homes here. I'm going to probably spend half the year here, almost half the year in Greece, and then a couple of months at a location I haven't chosen yet. Maybe a floating place, maybe a different place every year. But that's how I plan to break up my year. And having said that, I'm going to probably live in Bangkok while I'm here. And if I want to go to the beach or chill, I can always take a few days to come here, or go to Samui or Krabi or something like that. So personally, I'd rather live in Bangkok if I could only choose one. And that's that. Merry Christmas to y'all. I'm gonna go get some seafood. Eat well.